Welcome everybody. So this is 5.3, graphing functions in slope-intercept form. So we have two standards. If I have 7, which is graphing, SID7 is interpret linear models. And you'll learn how to graph a linear function given its slope-intercept form. So our slope-intercept form again, right, is f of x equals mx plus b. You can see that a lot. The same thing as y equals mx plus b. Same exact thing. F of x and y, remember, are the same. And then you have your slope m, which is your rate of change. And you have your constant b, which is your y-intercept, your initial value. So we want to apply it to word problems, apply it to situations. Remember that slope is rate of change, b, your y-intercept is your initial value. So this is the equation that we need to remember, right? Rate of change is your slope. And to find your slope, we do change in y over change in x, and which is rise over run, right? And we also did last time that this is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that's how we find a given 2 points. Okay, so let's do number 1. So savings. Paul's grandmother started a savings account for him to be used when he starts college. He started off with initial deposit, $300. Then you put in $100 every month, and you're given the function S of m equals 100m plus 300, and that represents the amount of savings after m months. Okay, so what is a slope, which is your rate of change for Paul's college savings? So let's look at our equation again and break it down. So if we have S of m equals 100m plus 300, and remember we're comparing that to our slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b, always. So if we compare it to y equals mx plus b, we can automatically just match it up, right? Your m, or your slope, is 100. The number at the end, your b, your y-intercept, is 300. So given this, we can say that 100 is our slope, and another word for slope or phrase is rate of change. And then our b, our number at the end, that is our y-intercept, which is also our initial value. So always remember that. So y-intercept, initial value, slope is rate of change. So if we know that just by looking at the equation, so it says what is the slope, which is your rate of change? 100, right? So this is 100, and our rate of change is just not 100, right? It's $100 every month, right? Per month. So $100 every month, that is our rate of change. And that makes sense because it tells us right here, $100 every month. That's what it's changing by. Our initial value, our y-intercept, is 300. So $300 is our initial value, which is also our y-intercept, and it also gives us here initial deposit 300. So in the word problem, it told you what it started with. So it started with your initial value 300. That's why your y-intercept is 300, and it tells you what your rate of change is, $100 every month, and that's why your slope is 100, and that's how we got our equation. So part C, we want to label both the horizontal axis and vertical axis and graph a function using y-intercept and slope. Okay, so we got two things going on, right? We got money and we got months. So remember, our x-axis is always our input value, right? And to tell the input value, it just gives you into the equation, right? Your input value is the m, whatever we're substituting, that's our input. So that's our months. So our months go on the bottom, and then our vertical axis is our answer. So we substitute it, we get an answer, and that is our S, right? Our savings. It's our output. right? So this is savings in dollars. So our months, let's go by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we got savings. So we have an initial value. We know it starts at 300. So let's go by hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, as far as we can go. So when we graph it, we can tell that our initial value is going to be 300. So we start at 300. Okay, so start at initial value, $300. And then we're going to use our slope to find our other points. So if it goes 100 every month, so for each month, goes up 100, right? 2 months, it goes up another 100. 3 months, goes up another 100. 4 months, goes up another 100, right? So our rate of change, if we're looking at it, so here is 100, this is 1, right? 100, 1, 100, 1, all the way, 101. Okay, then we draw our straight line all the way across. Boom. And it goes on forever and ever as long as you save money, right? So each month, save $100 more. We can label this, right, college savings, right there. Okay, so we're looking at our equation. Number next to the variable is always our slope, which is our rate of change, $100 per month. Initial value, always our y-intercept. I'm going to use rate of change 100 over 1. Okay, number 2. So we have equation f of x equals 2x plus 3. And we want to find what is the slope and y-intercept. So again, we just related to our y equals mx plus b. Right? So 2 matches up with m, 3 matches up with b. So our slope, m, is going to be 2, and our b, our y-intercept, is 3. Right? So b equals 3. So that means the y-intercept, which is on the y-axis, is 0, 3. Always 0, 3. And below is a table and a graph. So find the slope and y-intercept using the table. Right? So again, we can find what is the rate of change here. So we're going to add 1, right? Because we're adding 1, adding 1, adding 1. Adding 1. And as you add 1, your y values are going plus 2, right? Plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So you can find what is a rise over run by the change in y over change of x. Right? And change in y, the triangle means change in x. So change in y over change in x, which is 2 over 1, which is just 2. Right? And that will be your slope. You also could do it by ordered pairs. You have 2 ordered pairs. Just take any 2 of them. You can do either one. Let's do positives because it's easier. So these 2 positives. Right? So we got 0, 3 and 1, 5. Those are our 2 points. So we got x1, y1 for our first point, x2, y2 for our second point, and then we use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and then y2 is 5, y1 is 3, x2 is 1, x1 is 0. And we subtract it, we get 2 over 1, which is just 2. So it's the same exact thing, right? So your slope is 2, so m equals 2. And then your y-intercept is going to be whenever you have 0. So this one right here is 0, 3. Whenever your x is 0, because that's going to be on your y-axis. So your y-intercept is 0, 3. And then next one, find the slope and the y-intercept using the graph. Same thing. I'm just going to go up 2, right? Positive 2. This is positive 1. Up 2, 1, and follow the pattern 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So our slope, again, right? Rise over run. Up 2, right 1, which is just 2. So again, slope is 2. Our y-intercept is right here. And that is at point 0, 3. So y-intercept 0, 3. And that's our point. And how do they relate to the equation? Let's look at them all. So we got slope is 2, and then we did it by a table, we got 2, or points 2, right? And we did it by the graph, we also got 2, or they're all the same. And we got our y-intercept was 0, 3, and then for our table, we also got y-intercept 0, 3, and we also got y-intercept 0, 3 on our graph right there. So they're all related. So we either can look at the equation to get our slope and y-intercept, right, our equation to get our slope 2, y-intercept 3. We can use a table to find the change in y over change in x, which is 2. Y-intercept is always has a 0, right? So 0, 3. And on our graph, use up to right 1, up to right 1, up to right 1. And our y-intercept is 0, 3. So they're all related, they're all the same. Okay, so number 4, automatic. We can just look at it, right? So we look. So the slope, right there. 3. Y-intercept, right there, right? So 0, negative 1. So that's a negative 1, right? Take the negative. Okay, our slope for B, we got to look for the x value, whatever's next to the x, that's negative 5. So slope is negative 5, and our y-intercept is going to be 2, so 0, 2. Just keep that in mind. Whatever's next to the variable, that's your slope. And this one, your slope, whatever's in front of the x, there's no number in front of x, but it's just a 1, because it's 1x. So our slope is 1. Our y-intercept is going to be negative 4. So 0, negative 4 is our y-intercept. Part D, again, our slope is in front of the x, so it's 3 over 2. Our y-intercept, there's no number out here, it's like plus 0. So our y-intercept is going to be 0, 0. There's no number. Part E, you can fill that out. Part E, just use the previous example. Okay, let's do F. Okay, slope, y-intercept. So we always start at the y-intercept right there. So there's that's a negative 2 on the y-axis. So our y-intercept is 0, negative 2. And then we find our slope by going to another point, right? So just go on till we get to a corner. Always a corner. Here's a corner. So go 1, 2, 3. So we up 3, right 1. So our rise over run is 3 over 1. So we got 3 over 1. Let's write that out. So rise over run equals 3 over 1, which is 3. And that's our slope. Okay, the next one, same thing. We can find what the y-intercept is. Right there, that's a negative 2. This again is at 0, negative 2. Our slope, we're going to hit a corner. All right, there, perfect. So we go up 1, right 1. So 1 over 1. So our slope is rise over run, which is 1 over 1, which is just 1. Right there. Okay, number 5, we're going to graph the linear function f of x equals 2/3 x minus 5. So again, we're going to relate it to our y equals mx plus b, our slope-intercept form, right? And it matches up. You can automatically tell what the slope is. So our slope is 2/3. We can tell what the b is, our y-intercept, which is negative 5. So that's going to be 0, negative 5 on a graph. So when we graph it, we're going to start at this y-intercept, 0, negative 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. So we're going to start there. Then we're going to use our slope 2/3. right? So this is up 2, right 3. Up 2, right 3. So we went up 2, 1, 2, right 3. Right there. Right, so up 2, right 3. Up 2, right 3. Up 2, right 3. And we're going off the graph. So we can go the other way too. We can go down to left 3. Just follow the pattern, right? Down to left 3. Right there. This should make a nice constant rate of change for our line. Because it's increasing up to right 3, up to all the time. So that's how you graph. So step 1, so start at the initial value, which is the y-intercept. Their initial value is always the y-intercept. Then use the rate of change, which is the slope. And rise over run to find other points on the graph, both to the right and to the left, just like we just did. Again, and draw a straight line through the points. Okay, so when you want to graph, always start the y-intercept, -5, this number here, -5, right there on the y-axis. Use your slope 2/3, up to right 3, up to right 3, up to right 3. And you can go the other way, down to left 3. Just follow the pattern so it makes a straight line all the way across. Okay, let's do a couple examples there. Okay, number 1. So you want to start at this y-intercept, right? So our b equals 1 and our slope equals 4/3. 4/3. Right? So we start at our 1 and then we use our slope 4/3. We're going up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right 3. Up 4, right 3, and then we can go down, down 4, left 3, and follow the pattern. And we're going to draw a line right there. That's all there is to it. Okay, number 2. So again, this one, so y equals mx plus b. But if we look at it, there's no x, right? And there's no x. This is just like y equals 0x. And this is going to be -4, right? Because y equals -4. So then you can see your slope is 0 and your y-intercept is -4. So we're going to start at our y-intercept here. And our slope is 0. So we're going 0 over 0, or 0 over some number, 0 over 1, 0 over 2, 0 over 3. So when the slope is 0, we have a flat line. So it's all the way across. Right there. So we have a straight line. Flat ground has a 0 slope. Okay, let's do negative. So number 4. So again, slope is -5 over 4. Our y-intercept is -4. So we start at -4. Use your slope down 4 or down 5, right 4. So we're going to run out of space going down, right? Kind of go down too far. So we got to go up. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go left 1, 2, 3, 4 because it's negative. Right? So 5 over -4. So it has to go left. And our slope is always going down. If we go one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off the graph. And we make our line right there. So our slope should be negative going down. Okay, that should get you started. Answer the questions. Khan Academy. Last problem. You're going to graph it and explain what are you doing with your steps. Okay, and we're not doing the flip grid. Cancel that. Okay, so just write it in there. Use your words and answer the problem. All right, good luck, guys.